But we begin this hour with 4 people having been killed and several others injured in a mass shooting at a Mormon church in the northern US state of Michigan. The attack happened in the town of Grand Blanc, about an hour's drive northwest of Detroit. Authorities say the suspect is a 40-year-old man they've identified as Thomas Jacob Sanford. They say he rammed his vehicle into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints building and started shooting. Our correspondent Barry Caffrey reports.
Engulfed in flames, a Mormon church in a quiet corner of Michigan, now the site of yet another episode in America's endless gun violence. The ordeal unfolded as a gunman, 40-year-old Thomas Jacob Sanford, rammed the church with a vehicle at 10:25 in the morning and began shooting at the congregation with an assault rifle. He then set the Church of the Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc alight, sparking a huge blaze which engulfed the building.
This act of violence has no place in our state or anywhere else in our country. The FBI is committed to continue finding out the facts, circumstances, and motives behind this tragedy. I can confirm at this time that the FBI is now leading the investigation and is investigating this as an act of targeted violence.
After a few minutes, the gunman was killed during an exchange of fire with the police. Authorities said the entire church has not yet been cleared because of the extensive fire damage, and some people are still unaccounted for. Local police have praised the churchgoers who responded to the shooting.
I'd also like to acknowledge the heroism of not only the first responders, but the people who were inside that church at the time. They were shielding the children who were also present within the church, moving them to safety. Just hundreds of people just practicing their faith. Just extreme courage, brave, and that's the type of community that we are.
President Trump wrote on social media that he'd been briefed on what he called yet another targeted attack on Christians in the United States. He said the epidemic of violence in our country must end immediately. This attack comes just a month after a shooter fired through the windows of a church in Minneapolis, killing 2 children. The motive behind this church shooting in Michigan remains unclear. Barry Caffrey, BBC News.
Steve Carmody is a reporter with Michigan Public. He has this update from Grand Blanc.
At this point, they're still putting together the pieces, trying to understand the motive behind this. At this time, there's no direct connections that have been made public between the shooter and the church or anyone who was attending the church. And at this point, his motives for carrying out this attack are unclear. There were vigils that were taking place this evening in different parts of the community. Many people went to as close as they could to the church and just there to pay their respects. Many just expressing shock that people can't even be at peace when they're inside a church. We hear this all the time. Why has this happened here? This thing never happens in our kind of community. And it is something that those of us here in the States who have covered multiple mass shootings have heard everywhere we've been. And when we hear someone say, this doesn't happen in our community, it happens in communities all across the United States. We're learning more and more over time, although we're not getting information about why he did this. He is an ex-Marine, or was an ex-Marine, and lived about 20 minutes away from the church. We're hopefully going to learn more over the next day about what he may have been posting on social media, what he may have been telling friends in the days and weeks before this. At this point, we just don't know enough about him to understand why this happened.
Steve Carmody reporting from Grand Blanc for Michigan Public.